prospects, recruits that we have on campus. It's a smaller group, but if you kind of look at it along with some of the guys we use as, year before we advanced the class a little bit with guys like Evan Witherspoon. You even like it a little bit more. But going into this class, you look at our senior class that we have leaving right now, a lot of defensive linemen, I think. From the end of the spring until losing guys like Bobby Roundtree to the senior class that we have, we knew there would be a void of defensive linemen. So we kind of attacked it really hard and really feel good about that defensive line class we have going in. You try to add players at every position as much as you possibly can to stand on the defensive side. Adding a linebacker like Mark Gardner is just, I think, one of the fastest linebackers in the country. It should really help an awful lot. Most people want to start, with, the offensive side of the football, and it always starts with the quarterback position. Deuce Spann. His dad and I were, about a cup of coffee, I guess. We're, together a little bit with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers way back in the day. But what we're looking for at the quarterback position, and Coach Smith will talk on this a little bit later on. You want a guy with some size, athletic, speed. Once you get to know him, so we're really excited about him joining our team. And the St. Louis area has been really good to us. Getting a player like James Frenchie, Reggie Love, guys that have seemed like have been up here in our program for a long period of time. So it's really good to get them on campus. A little disappointing that that we weren't able to sign many of our state guys, Illinois prospects that we went after. But we offered about 19 athletes from our state. Eventually, we'll get to a position where we'll be keeping more of our talent, more of our state talent here at the University of Illinois. Texas also, it's been an area that we've done well in the past. Some years it just kind of works out this way. But the class that we have, really pumped up about them. Once you get to know them, you'll see why we are. Take your question.
Well, what's it say about your program that you're able to flip two guys late in the process who are very highly recruited?
Well, outstanding job by the staff. I'm going to, start off with that. As I look at the University of Illinois, this recruiting process started a long period of time. Long time ago. After last season, lots changed. So a lot of guys, athletes, had committed early and liked the program until they got a chance to really see exactly who we were. They got a chance to see our new facility. We talked about having the last step was to have a better product on the football field. That's why when a lot of you, Jeremy, were waiting for got to sign more commitments, we wanted to put more of a product for them to see exactly who we were. So to be able to get a few of the guys to flip is a good thing. And I think as we go forward, more people will buy into what we're doing. This bowl game, I know it's a recruiting meeting that we have, but this bowl game, all these things help. And we want our classes to get better and better. The numbers are down this year. Next year's class will be a lot bigger, and we'll have a plan for it. But as we improve our roster, we look at all ways and all different times too. The graduate transfer route, we didn't use all of our scholarships this period of time. We're looking forward to the second signing period and beyond.
Coach, how impressed were you with what Austin Clark has done in this class? And just as a recruiter overall, it feels like he's kind of crushed it ever since you hired.
Yes, he's. I thought he would be that way. That was his reputation coming in. But our entire staff works extremely hard. We position recruit as much as anything with an area also. But we want our position coaches to be really involved, and we want to prove someone unless the position coach really likes that person, and that was the case with the defensive line. Of course, Austin loved all these guys. We all did. But then it's about just being relentless in your pursuit of these players, and Austin, along with the rest of the staff, definitely did that.
What do Jerjon and Cooper add to your defensive line now and in the future?
Well, what's his name again?
Jerjon?
Yeah, Johnny.
You call him Johnny?
Yeah, it'll be Johnny Newton. Johnny Newton was the 2017 Offensive Player of in the Tampa Bay area. It's a sophomore. So what he'll add, and I got a chance, we got a chance, Coach Clark and I got a chance to see him in person. But he's an athlete that would be playing on the defensive line for us. The night I saw him, I mean, their team they won the playoff game with him scoring the last touchdown. So that's the kind of athlete you're getting. Cooper Davis had, I think, Austin 22 sacks, right, his senior year?
Yes, sir.
So that right there kind of tells you the type of athlete. And all these guys we talked about, they came up, loved everything about the university that we have. Even though we didn't do well in some areas, the Florida area, especially the Tampa area, was really good too.
Coach, was it not a good year in Illinois talent-wise?
I'm sorry?
Was it not a good year in Illinois talent-wise?
No,
or
what
did not
I
be a
said
fair-
that we offered 19 guys
Right, so-
that chose to go elsewhere. When you say not a good year, I mean, we offered 19 guys, so in the future, hopefully we'll get some of those 19 guys to stay.
Lovie, when you're looking at interior defensive linemen, what are the traits that you like in an interior lineman?
Well, we look for athletes at all positions, guys that can bend. One of the first things I ask the coaches on just about any position except an offensive lineman is, can they run? So we're looking for a guy with some speed that can bend, athletic ability. And a lot of times on the defensive line, how you show your athletic ability is by playing other sports. Johnny Newton, the week I was down in Tampa, had 28 points on the basketball court. But there, you know, that's what we're looking for a little bit, and really at all the skill positions and more. That's athletic ability, speed, quickness, all that good stuff.
I know players are playing earlier and earlier than they nowadays, but are you more comfortable now that you're adding to your depth and not exactly just finding, freshmen that can play right away?
You say, are we more comfortable just finding them?
No, just that you are now finding depth and not just playing so many freshmen as you've done in the past.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, ideal world, I mean, we're going to always play the best person, but we want to have our program to a position where guys come in, they get bigger, stronger, faster, but they don't have to play right away. In an ideal world, that's the case. But at the same time, I think more and more athletes are coming into college more ready to play right away. And every year I've been around ball, some of the guys are ready to go. Look at the class we have this year. We end up redshirting a few of the guys that are going to be good football players, but the position we were in of having more depth allowed us to let them go through a normal progression.
What does Anthony Shipton bring up front? And are you looking for more veteran help there since you lose so many guys?
Well, you're right. As I talk about a lot of the younger players, to your question, we still wanted a little bit of, experience too. And that's what Anthony Shipton would bring to us. I'll just say, once you meet him, you're going to like him an awful lot. He kind of takes over room, and that's the way he plays the game. He's excited about playing ball, plays hard. We don't recruit a lot of junior college players, but just seemed like a good fit. Went out to see him and him getting back here on campus, but he'll play the nose guard position for us, and we're excited about him doing it.
Coach, you add Gardner to this mix of linebackers. It feels like a linebacker crew might be your best that you have. Where do you see him fitting into this? Is he a strong side linebacker, or where do you expect him?
Well, we strong side, weak side. What we do is we want to recruit athletic linebackers, and maybe some, as we get the entire group together, some may not be as athletic as others. They tend to play Mike for us, a little bit more knowledge, kind of tell the leaders who they are a little bit. But we have options. Jake Hansen was an outside linebacker this past year. He may be an inside linebacker next year. So we're just going to keep, as far as the profile of it's more the profile. As I said, he's going to be one of the fastest linebackers in the country. Loves football, and we're excited about that.
How many do you expect to add in February when usual signing day?
Fluid number. You can look at, the amount we have on our roster. But we kept some positions open.
Sure.
We'll be looking for other high school athlete. Last year, the second signing period, we didn't know who Tariq Barnes was until after the first signing period. So once the dead period is over, we'll go back out, scan the country, and we have a few spots to be able to accommodate some of those players. And then from there, grad transfer market, of course, is open too.
Without naming names, are there some Illinois kids that could be in the second wave?
Everyone, yes, to answer your question. We look at every spot. The first place that we start as far as recruiting is in our home state.
Right.
So, absolutely.
Well, anybody could be here next semester.
I'm sorry?
Anybody here next semester?
There'll be a couple possibilities, absolutely. We should have a few players on campus, yes. A little bit later on, we'll let you know exactly which ones will be doing that.
You mentioned that.
As you talk about that, I'm kind of asked sometimes, do you recommend, there's some good and bad in that of high school guys. I think there's something about finishing up your senior year with your group that you started with. Last time you're going to be in your home. But getting here and getting a chance to go through spring ball, there's a lot of value in that also. So we'll have a few that'll do both.
You mentioned the grad transfer market. Obviously, you're very active on that. Do you expect to be as active as you guys were previously?
Well, I'd like to think that we're active. I mean, what does our team need? You start with that. We're going to be active recruiting high school athletes for the early signing period and the second one. And then from there, we have a chance to see exactly what our roster look like. We would like a couple of open spots in case there are graduate transfers out there. And we've had a year to go through it also, and it worked out pretty good for us. You know what our grad transfers did for us this year. That would be definitely something we'll continue to look at.
Lovie, for somebody that hasn't seen him, how does James Frenchie play maybe above his listed height and weight? And what do you see on tape with him?
Well, the listed height and weight, I'm just not one that really, when we talk about guarding, it's not like he's you didn't have big buckets his size as a linebacker. So that's just never been that important to me. The size. Can he run? Yes. Can he make you miss in the open field? Absolutely. Is he a playmaker? Yes. Those are the important things. And if you've seen him play, you'll know that he can be a special football player. And just not that. He and Reggie were both team captains. And of this class coming in, we have 7 other guys were team captains. And that's saying an awful lot when you added not just being a good football player, but so much more to your team.
Coach, it feels like you added different offensive linemen in this class compared to last one. These guys are 6'6", 305. Like, what's the process like of getting them to the size that you want them? Like, how do you kind of go about that?
Well, have you ever talked to our strength and conditioning coordinator? He can get you right. But what we're trying to do for all the guys, I mean, we're getting young athletes that need development. We feel like we have everything in place to develop our athletes after they get here. Lay Sparks, Life Griffin, Kevin Love, all these guys, as you mentioned, have great size. And once we feel like we get the right type of weight on them, they're going to be excellent football players.
As a defensive guy, what would concern you about Deuce Spann lining up against him?
Oh, I've been on record in an ideal world talking as a defensive a person trying to stop a good offense. You would like to see the quarterback stay in the pocket always. You look at NFL right now, Lamar Jackson, I mean, he's different dimension to the NFL game now. But, again, you would like to have a guy stay in the pocket. If the guy starts running, quarterback is normally not accounted for. So to have a good athlete that can, of course, throw the ball and also move the chains with his feet. But that's who we want to be. That's our ideal quarterback. And I feel like we're getting a guy in Deuce.
What have you thought of that evolution at both levels of what the quarterback has become, especially those guys?
As I talk about, asking guys, how fast is he a good athlete? I mean, that goes to, except for the offensive line, really offensive linemen. Kendrick Green would hate me saying that about the position, so I'll be careful about saying that. You kind of want that at every position. So, and I know there's some, the more you run, there's a chance of getting hurt too. But to be productive, that definitely helps your production on the offensive side when you have a quarterback that can also beat you with his leg.
Coach, what do the wins this year mean for you in recruiting in this class, and what do you think it will help in terms of going forward?
Well, Bob, teams are deaf when we go in, as we've been out, of course, a period of time
Right.
now. Everybody know what we did. People pay attention. Football is most popular sport that there is around in the United States. So people pay attention. College ball, everybody is excited and paid attention to it. We were part of that. I've talked about being relevant again. Parts of the year we were really relevant. Again, in football, people saw us going into the different. We're welcome a lot more, and it's not. The final piece of people wanting to come here is that, are we going to be good enough? Can we really compete? And I think that's what they saw this year.
Coach, can you just talk about that process a little bit of trying to flip someone late in the year? Because you kind of get in there a little bit later sometimes, but like a Johnny Newton, like you got in there a little bit later. Is it harder to flip someone because you have less time or less relationship with them sometimes?
Well, you have less time and less to really form that relationship. But you got to keep in mind, we were there before signing date. And what's a commitment? It's an engagement. Would you recommend, your son came to you and said, hey, Dad, I'm getting married on this day, but I think somebody else may be my ideal mate. Are you going to force them to do that? No, it's not final until that day. So you have time, is my point, a little bit. And through the course of the year, people want to take in the whole body of work. That's what we do. And that's what, so we'll get to a point where, maybe we're in a little bit different position, but that's kind of how it all plays.
Have you been able to finalize anything on whether Bobby can make the bowl trip or not?
Everything is always fluid.
Okay.
We're going to have Bobby with us as much as we can possibly have Bobby with us. And there's a lot that kind of goes into that. He's going to be with us one way or another, maybe in spirit, but he'll be with us one way. You guys kind of saw how much progress he's made. He continues that, and we have a little bit of time still.
Well, you mentioned different areas that have been really good to you guys, St. Louis being one, the Florida area being another. How do you go about cultivating such strong relationships in certain pockets, especially in Florida being so far away?
Well, you're right. It's a little bit harder to navigate with Texas, Florida, and we went into Georgia this year a little bit more, but the natural areas, and even we plan on going into the Indianapolis area more. They're 2 hours away. Chicago, it makes sense, 2 hours away. St. Louis, we feel like we're the home university. So it's easy to go into those areas like that. And then as far as going a little bit farther away, what kind of connections do you have? Our Texas connection, Florida connections, Coach Key, Coach Clark, they're products of Tampa high school football. So you call on all those different areas. Coach James Kirkland is from the Atlanta area, so you just keep the areas where you have connections, you do hit it also.
Lovie, Joe Price is from Texas, obviously you want to cultivate more relationships, and he's been
And
out
Houston in particular.
Yeah,
Yep.
and he's been out there on the trail for the waiver. What's he added there, and what can he bring in the long term?
Well, long term, another area. I say Texas, it's a big state. We've primarily been in the Dallas area. We like to get into the Houston area. We have all these areas we're talking about also. We have a big alumni phase 2 group, just like, of course, getting ready to go to the Red Box Bowl. But Joe knows the area well, and so it's just that. Another young guy that's aggressive, relentless. We call on all our ties. I know there's great high school football down there. We want to touch as many areas as we possibly can.
Do you pay much attention to what happened the rest of the Big Ten in terms of signing day? Did you look at
Eventually.
Yeah,
right now, I couldn't tell you much on what I paid attention to the ones that we, a few that we end up battling with at the end. I can tell you how that went. But eventually, yes, you look at what the Big Ten is doing and other areas too. Absolutely, especially down south. We have the bragging right game coming up. Right, we pay attention to Missouri. Coach Patterson and I are going down there. We can't wait to go down and support our basketball team in this big game this Saturday. Josh at 12, correct? We'll be down there fit, so absolutely.
Anything else for Coach?
Some of our coaches are here. They can give you some more detail on the guy. Thank you.
We have several guys in the back. So.
Is that right?
All right.